Here's the answer for day 2, problem 1. Let's factor this trinomial. First, look for a greatest common factor, but there is no number that divides into all terms other than 1. Now let's check to see if this trinomial fits a special pattern. There is one special trinomial pattern that we learned about. It is called a perfect square trinomial. We need to check to see if this is a perfect square trinomial. The first term must be a perfect square. If you take the square root of the first term, do you get a nice result? Well, sure you do. You just get an A. The last term must be a perfect square. Is 81 a perfect square? Yes, when you take the square root, you get a nice result, the whole number 9. Now, just because the first and last terms are perfect squares is not enough to make sure that this is a perfect square trinomial. The middle term has to check out as well. In a perfect square trinomial, the middle term is twice the product of this and this. The product of A and 9 is 9A. Twice 9A is 18A, and that is what's in the middle. This is a perfect square trinomial. As soon as we identify that it is, now we know how to factor it. One set of parentheses, squaring on the outside. The number that goes in the first position is the A, the thing that we got when we did the square root of A squared. The number that goes in the last position is the 9, the thing that we got when we did the square root of 81. Because the trinomial has a minus sign in the middle, this needs a minus sign in the middle. Day 2, problem 2. Let's factor this trinomial. There is no greatest common factor besides 1. Let's check if this is a perfect square trinomial. The first term is a perfect square. The square root of x squared is x. But the last term is not a perfect square. The square root of 5 is a decimal, not a whole number. Okay, we know it's not a perfect square trinomial. There's one last thing to try. It might factor using FOIL. Let's put two sets of parentheses. X times x is the x squared term. Now, how can you get 5? Well, how about going 1 times 5? That makes 5. And if these are both positives, then the outer product, 5x, and the inner product, 1x, combine together to 6x, which is our middle term. So our factored form is x plus 1 times x plus 5.